So here I am spinning the Wild Bats from the other day. I am doing a combination of wrapping, sort of like an auto wrap racing stripe, and core spinning where I switch back and forth. I'm spinning directly from my bat right now. Sometimes I split up my bat, sometimes I don't. So right now I've got the whole bat on my lap. I also have a bunch of locks and some silk and things to grab in. So when I get tired of spinning from my bat, or when I just want to change it up mostly, I'm going to just sort of break off from my bat. I'm going to slow my wheel down or stop it completely. If I'm putting in some of these BFL lamb locks in this nice bright green color, I'm just going to pull them off. So sometimes I prep my locks ahead of time and sometimes I just go with it when I'm spinning. I'm going to pull them and I want to catch them because I'm going to wrap around them with the yarn. This is the Corriedale that I spun on my drop spindle. And so I'm just wrapping around and I'm just making it secure nicely in there. I'm going to pull a little bit of my bat for the end here just to catch it and make sure that it's holding the lock in place. And so I'll do a little bit more core spinning. And then I'm going to put another BFL lamb lock in there, just pull it off and catch it. This one I'm just going to let wrap around and then I'm going to just let the tail go. So I've been wrapping, core spinning the BFL lock, but now I'm just wrapping it with the Corriedale from before, and then I'm going back to a little bit of a core spin, and then a little bit of a wrap, and then I'm going to let that go, and I'm going to pick up some of my silk. I want to transition into this, and I'm just going to let it catch nicely, and I'm going to use it as a little bit of a core spin, just wrapping around the lock. Key with having everything in your lap is that you've got to make sure that you don't catch anything you don't want to on your yarn. So you've got to be paying attention in that sense. And then I'm going to wrap a little bit of my silk as well. Just pulling it out gradually. I'll end that there. And I'll go back to spinning from my bat. I'm going to use the purple portion here on my bat. And I'm going to start by core spinning and doing a little bit of auto wrapping. It's a guided wrap, so sometimes I sort of let it wrap into wherever it wants, and sometimes I guide it a little bit more so that I get it closer together or further apart or a little bit looser, depending on what I want to see come out of my bat. So of course when you wrap the yarn, it'll hide different bits and pieces, and so I just manipulate how I'm using the drop spindle spun Corriedale to sort of showcase the different parts of the fiber that I want to see in my finished yarn. When I'm spinning this yarn, I'm spinning it the same direction that I spun my roving, my Corriedale roving. And the reason I'm doing that is I want it to be overspun. I'm going to use a technique from Nouveau Fiber Arts called Roots Yarn, and I'm going to use that to finish this yarn off for the mystery giveaway, the mystery yarn giveaway. I'm pulling out a little bit of Mohair, and I want this to be nice and soft, so I'm just letting it wrap around the core nice and lightly, nice and open. I'm getting a little bit of the silk here, so I'm going to pull that out a little bit more, wrap that a little bit more tightly around my core, and then do a little bit of racing stripe auto wrap so it comes up. So for the most part I've been alternating between 45-degree angle when I core spin and a 90-degree angle when I core spin. So once I've finished doing some auto wrapping here, I can show you what I mean. And so you get two different sort of finished effects. If I'm at 90 degrees to my core yarn, then it wraps it completely around. And depending on how much fiber I put, I can still see my core through. So in some places I may wrap more thickly, and in some places I'm going to wrap nice and thin. Just got it caught here. I'm just going to move my yarn down. Some of the big pieces still catch. This wheel is from a store in Nelson. They were selling it used. Maple Rose. They've got some beautiful yarns and Waldorf inspired books and other toys for children. This wheel seems to be a custom made art yarn wheel. It's a single treadle. It was the wheel I learned on. It had a few problems when I got it, so I got to learn a lot about spinning wheels in order to try and fix them, those problems. Then the other way that you can core spin is sort of more on an angle, so on a 45-degree angle, and when I do that I get a mix between the core spinning look and the racing stripe auto wrapping look, which can look a little nice. It's kind of barber pole, kind of candy cane. There we go. And I've also got some Teeswater locks. I'm just going to break off and I'm going to do some of those. So sometimes I'll flick the ends of these and sometimes I'll just use my hands to open them up. So these ones I'm just going to find the part that looks like it's being cut from the sheep, so it's not quite as pointy, and I'm just going to pull it apart, sort of fluff it up a little, and then I'm going to pull another lock. I don't really want that one to be fluffed up too much. I want to catch these locks in the ends of these locks. So you'll see, start them catching on the yarn here, and I'm going to wrap it around. And then as I get to the end, I'm going to catch the other ones by flipping and using the Corriedale to wrap around those and catch them. So there's a little bit of tail spinning in this bat as well, and then I'm going to go back to my bat and back to wrapping. So that's all the different elements for the sort of the base yarn that I'm doing before I finish off with the roots technique. You've got the sort of half auto wrap, half racing stripe. I've got the core spinning either on a 90-degree angle or a 45-degree angle. I've got some locks, so a little bit of tail spinning, a little bit of lock spinning in there. And then I've got my silk as well, doing the same technique, and some of the Teeswater locks that I'm catching.